So today I'm going to talk to you about 4 misconceptions that many people have, which is actually a big problem. But here's the thing. They don't know that it's a problem because they're so used to saying it. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Lucretia and I protect families from out-of-pocket costs and other expenses for a funeral. This is also known as life insurance. However, as a seasoned agent, I like to focus more on how to educate families with life insurance rather than just talk to them about what I sell. What is it that you could be saying on a daily basis or when you have a conversation around life insurance that's actually setting you up to not succeed? Well, one of the 4 biggest misconceptions that most people say is, oh, I'm healthy right now. I don't really need it. Well, that's perfect that you're healthy because the time to get life insurance is when you're at your healthiest, which I usually say is when people are small or they have kids. That's the more ideal time because not a lot of kids, kids of course do get sick, but usually most kids are going to be at their best when they're young, and it's going to be at the cheapest rate. So you get more for your money. Oh, I'm young. I don't really need that right now. That's for when you get like to be 50 or 60 or even 70 years old, right? And I'm here to bust your bubble. No, life insurance is for right now. You don't have to wait until you're 30, 40, 50 years old to get life insurance. There's no rule on that. Now, where people have gotten it wrong is because they've seen so many things on TV where they've been, I guess I could say, improperly educated, that's the time to get it because that's when they see, like, people are older, they have silver hair, and they think, oh, that's when I get life insurance. I'm here to correct that myth. Life insurance is for right now. And again, you want to get it when you're at your healthiest state, not when you're already sick. Now, don't get me wrong, you can get a policy when you're sick, but it's going to cost you a little bit more because something's already going on with your body. All right, so misconception number 3. I just can't afford life insurance right now. I am on a budget. I'm on a fixed income. I have a family. I don't have a lot of money. Like, life insurance is not on the top of the list for me, and I think it can wait. Well, this is actually a big problem because if you are a breadwinner, meaning you're the only person in the household that's working or you're bringing in the main income, if something happened to you, God forbid, and your income is now gone, you've now passed away, and your spouse or your children are left to try to figure things out, and there's a house note, a car note, you've got all these bills. How is your family going to maintain that type of living? Now they're going to have to restructure if there's no income there to help replace it. So the way I like to look at it is life insurance is actually income replacement for your family, okay? This is money so that they don't have to move out of their house. They don't have to move in with somebody that probably doesn't have the space for them in the first place, or they don't have to go back to work sooner than when they're actually prepared to go back to work, which is huge. If you've ever had anybody that's had to deal with a funeral and they had to go back before they were ready, it puts them in a really crazy headspace, meaning they're trying to still maintain everyday life, even though everything about their life has completely changed. So just because that's the scenario, you don't want to base things off of that. You want to always make sure that you're as properly prepared as you can be. Something I like to tell people, you always hope for the best, right? But you prepare for the worst. All right. So the last and final most common misconception that I hear all of the time, oh, I'm fine. I have a policy at work. I know I have $1 million policy, or I think I have a 50,000 policy, or my mom put me on her policy at work. I should be good. I don't really need it. This is what I like to tell people. This is a problem because if your job ever shuts down, you retire, you get fired, or just for whatever reason, they no longer need your services, that policy is no longer available to you, meaning that policy will be canceled. When you leave that job, that policy also leaves. So let's say you started at that job when you were 20 and you're in optimal health. You're your best self, right? Now it is 20 years later, you're 40, and maybe you've had some health issues happen. Maybe you had a stroke. Maybe you had high blood pressure. There's a million things that can happen over the course of 20 years that affects your health. And as your health either declines or as you get older, life insurance is always going to be more expensive. Now, it's not always a whole lot more expensive, but depending on what's going with your body, life insurance is based off of your age and your health. So those 2 factors determine how high or how low your insurance will be. You have something that's called a contestability stage, right? And what that is basically for the first 2 years that you have a policy, if somebody passes away, the life insurance company can contest it. They can go through the records and see if you lied on anything on your application. They can make sure, they will check all the facts, okay? And even though life insurance is there to help you, if they can find a way to make sure that you are not getting that money, you may not get the money, okay? So it does nobody any good if you lie on an application, because it can, at the very end of the day, hurt your family way more than it can help them. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Lucretia, and I protect families from out-of-pocket costs and other expenses for a funeral. I'll see you in my next video.